a drunk is filler, but I'm down for it.
Yeah, let's rob a drunk. Fall asleep in the gut around here? Someone needs etiquette. Yeah, victim blaming. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah. Hey, we're helping him, Luke.
Society has failed you? Well, let me teach you a lesson by by stealing all you have.
Well, why are there two options here? I assume we just rob the drunk.
Well, we can either rob an anonymous wretch or rob someone that was in the military.
Well, there are multiple people sleeping in the gutter.
And if you got out your credit card, we could we could do this. Spearfist take on trade souls. Ooh, souls. We like souls. We just need to spend money to get souls. We need to sell our soul to capitalism to get souls. I mean, if that's not a perfect metaphor for capitalism, I don't know what is.
Well, I mean, we're stealing the guy who isn't a war veteran, right?
I mean, who has failed society more? The war veteran that was part of a needless war that didn't need to exist and then didn't get taken care of when he came home broken and traumatized, or the poor person that tried to work his hardest but still didn't make ends meet even with 5 jobs, and then the landlord increased rent and then he got kicked out of his home.
Okay, my gut feeling is always that poor veteran. Like, he's got to be dealing with some real ass trauma.
Like, society has failed both of these people massively.
Yeah.
But who has it failed more? Who deserves to be stolen from? We could also just, leave and not do this morally reprehensible thing.
Oh, we can't leave. We're here now. We've got to choose one. It's a classic trolley problem, Luke. I feel like society has failed the war veteran more, because there's kind of a promise that if you're willing to go to the army and do horrendous shit for us, we're gonna take care of you afterwards. And clearly we're not.
Yeah, if you go to Vietnam to take advantage of children, then I think really our society should look after them when they come home afterwards. Yeah.
You say that as a joke, but yeah, kind of. No, like, you gotta imagine the guys who have massive PTSD from dropping napalm on villages. I feel a little obligated that we should take care of them.
I feel like you've misunderstood what I mean when I said take advantage of children.
Luke, demonetized. Demonetized.
Exactly, that's why I phrased it that way. Because you understand that a lot of soldiers do these type of things. Not all of them, obviously, and some of them are just poor saps that do that because it pays bills. They get paid for it. It beats being $500,000 into debt to go to going to university. Or in fact, it might pay you a scholarship. But then some disgusting individuals really go there and become the worst kind of people.
Oh, and you have to imagine it attracts the real psychos in society. Like, people who want to go and do evil stuff, they join the army so they can do it.
Yeah, just like the police.
I'm still voting for stealing from the guy who isn't in the military.
After all of this?
Fine, we're gonna steal from the veteran! Fine! I hope you fail. Hope you fail this 60-60.
I did.
Good!
Fail. He crossed the wrist and opened his eyes. They were pallid blue, weapon of rat. Nothing, he croaks. There was nothing left of us. Scraps and follies. Even our souls were crisped cinders. He relaxes his grip, but his strong attention.
Okay.
Good.
Well, I mean, realistically, that's the best outcome. We didn't steal from anybody.
Yes. I'll have you know. I want to say for the history books, Shadow is holding a gun to my head to do one of these options.
Okay, and I want to say for the history books, there is no gun. Okay, there is no gun. I just lightly persuaded Luke to steal from these people. It took a light touch. He really wanted to do it. Okay.
When I said we could just back out, you said, no, we're fucking doing it.
Look, it's a trolley problem. When you're at the trolley problem, the worst decision you can make is to walk away.
Yeah, the worst decision is to slam the emergency brakes and get out of the vehicle and untie everybody.
We'll never have an answer to the trolley problem if you do that, Luke. We'll never know.
That is the answer. Not playing the game is the answer.
No, it's so unsatisfying though.
That's... yeah, not playing the oppressor's little game is the answer, even if it's unsatisfying.
Alright, where else could we go? I suppose... there's stuff to do in the Crowns of Spite. And I guess we could check out Watchmaker's Hill and see if there's anything there to do. Because there's a couple of things here.
Well,
that
it's Spite,
might
we
be
can...
filler.
Ooh, this is new, the tenterhooks. Here the dyers make their lairs. With their webs of cloth and their tangled lines. Escape is tricky, but pursuit is trickier. Smashillery Alley. Here the kiln tenders bake brick. Defeat the endless appetite for roof tiles. One of the many perils of the Neve. Stalactites that fall like god-flung stones to crack a roof open like snail shells. Blythentale. The cats of Blythentale are notorious. Here the cat chaser often finds himself the cat chased.
Well, we're doing...
Spite was just a place I'd go to steal purses, I thought. This is all new.
Yeah. Because the stuff I've written down are the Sister Fisher King, Thurgle the Grimacer Officer, and
everything's different. We're like 30, 50, 40 parts into Fallen London, and I feel like I've learned nothing. I don't know how to play this game.
Well, I mean, have you learnt more about this world? Like, have you been enthralled into it?
I've learned a few things, but I still feel like the world building... I've not understood the world building all that much yet. And I've not understood how to play the game all that much yet.
Well, I think more than that, I still don't really understand what the game is. You know what I mean? Like, we're pretty deep into it. And I still don't really kind of understand the payout. I'm assuming that you get, like, kind of cool stories every now and then. But I really don't understand what we're doing here. Like, what's our goal?
Our goal is just to experience stories, I guess.
Like, you remember No Man's Sky? I don't know if you ever played it.
No, but I know enough about it.
Well, from what I understand, like, the purpose of that game is that you just kind of go out into space, and you kind of just look at planets and gather resources. But the real game is just you go somewhere, you hope it looks pretty, and then you go somewhere else and you hope that looks pretty.
It's like Minecraft.
Well, Minecraft has more game, right?
That's it.
I don't know. I'm assuming it does, and you build stuff, right?
Don't you build stuff in No Man's Sky?
I mean, you gather, like, minerals, but that's about it, right? I actually don't know.
I know that No Man's Sky has a lot of content these days.
I know they've massively bounced back from it on release, because it on release was, like, real bad.
Yeah,
like, that was...
it's a great story in terms of indie company, where someone was overly ambitious in the time period that they had and under-delivered, and everyone's angry at them, and instead of abandoning the project and saying, shit, we failed, they sat down, they corrected their mistakes on a more realistic timetable, they pushed out update after update, and made the game it was always meant to be. Now, the only problem out of that is that all AAA companies caught wind of that and decided, ooh, what if we're a small indie studio, and adapted the same principle?
Well, it feels like 9 times out of 10, a developer in that situation just takes the money and runs, right? Because so many people bought No Man's Sky. I'm assuming that they could have just took the money and just run away.
Yes, which is what I'm saying. In terms of indie company, I feel like this is a phenomenal success story of someone setting unrealistic expectations that they could never deliver for themselves, and then actually delivering on that way after release, but still climbing back out of the jaws of defeat. Like they've thoroughly been eaten up by the jaws of defeat, but then they decided nah, and then they nutted the intestines of whatever beast the jaws actually belonged to. The literature isn't exactly clear on who the jaws of defeat actually belong to. But they nutted the insides into a ladder, and they climbed back up the gullet, and they made it out, and then fell right into the jaws of victory. Who are these two beasts that decide that keep eating us? I don't get it. Either way, great success story. And then all the AAA companies decided, what if we release a broken game on launch, and then gradually make it better? And then Cyberpunk came out.
Yeah. Oh my God, Cyberpunk was so bad. It was terrible on consoles. I played it on PC, and it was okay on PC. It just wasn't great. It felt really empty as a world.
And I mean, really, if that's not most AAA games these days.
Yeah, it's very sad. Let's do Blythenhale.
Yeah, Blythenhale. Would you say Blythenhale or Blythenhale?
British names of towns are always fucked up, so I guess it'd be Blythenhale.
Would you say Worcestershire or Worcestershire?
We didn't say any of that. That's not a place. You mean Worcester? You mean?
Sure. That's the worst way to pronounce that.
It's Worcester. It's Worcester sauce.
That's not remotely how that's written.
That's how you say it.
Ooh, this is interesting. Draw opportunity cards to move through the crowd. Approach or evade your targets depending on how many chances you want to take. You're approaching your destination is 5. You have 3 points of unseen. I mean, that's very interesting. Stop and consider what's next. A street performer or a drunk? I mean, now this is gameplay. I love drawing cards. How does this work?
I think you're supposed to pick one of those cards.
Draw opportunity cards to see where you counter in the crowd. Steal from marks or ignore them. It's your choice. When approaching destination is 10, your promenade is over and you can trade in your pickpockets trophies. Don't let your unseen reach 0 or your promenade will end badly. Alright, so we could go to a drunk, which we had historical bad experiences with, both morally and physically. Our street performer.
Okay, I mean, of these two, the drunk is the one we rob, right? The drunk is almost bringing it on himself. The street performer is just out here making a living.
Shadow, I love the I don't know, what's a fancy word? Dichotomy? Is that a word where there's kind of two sides?
Yeah.
Alright, sure. People can correct us in the comments if we're a bunch of idiots. But I love the dichotomy of over the years, I feel like I thoroughly pushed you from a mid-right economist, a type of view, slowly dragging you left into more and more of a leftist view. While at the same time in these Let's Play, we constantly make each other worse and we look like the biggest pieces of shit.
Yeah, I know, I feel like we both pulled each other, but you were a pretty noble dude before.
But it's it's exclusively throughout these Let's Plays where we try to one-up each other on the worst type of jokes.
Rob the drunk.
If I can somehow distill that into a short, the punchline of just saying, yes, I agree, we make each other worse. Rob the drunk is just phenomenal. He addresses himself fondly to the gin bottle in his hand. There's no eyes for anything else. I mean, we have 100% chance.
We do.
I'm sorry, my dude, but he'd only have sold them for gin anyway.
Yeah, it's his fault, really.
Isn't that like proven false? That actually if you give homeless people money, a lot of them spend them on immediate necessities. Generally, that's how giving poor people a stimulus check works. They immediately spend it on like, you know, food and clothing and rent, because that's what they need most.
So I think that there's two different stories that I've heard of this. One is that if you give someone who's desperate a little bit of money, they will actually spend it on the necessities. But I've also heard of a story where a social scientist gave a homeless person $100,000, and they blew it all like immediately. Like it immediately went to just drugs, which is kind of insane, right?
Well, yeah, but the problem is that usually ending up like homeless, especially for a longer period of time, your mind isn't very, let's say it's not at 100%.
Yeah.
So I feel like you can't just, it's like giving a child $100,000 that has no understanding of reality isn't gonna go over that well either, probably, right?
Yeah.
It's like you have to ease them back into regular society, because homeless society is a whole lot of different beast.
Well, I want to say, like, it must affect your brain on some level, being kind of.
So I feel like that homeless guy, he was not given a fair shot.
You think they fucked him over?
Yeah. It's like the main thing he needs is actual help. And sometimes a shit ton of money just isn't great help.
So I've just looked up the article for it. So he first started off by buying a bike and renting a motel. All good. Mm-hmm. He then started spending like crazy amounts. He spent $34,000 on a new truck, and then he leased a luxury apartment for himself. And so obviously when the lease ran out, he just became hopeless again, and all the money is gone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make a controversial statement here and say that homeless people are probably not the most business savvy.
Very controversial. Whoa, Luke.
But in terms of, I don't know, reality, I feel like this makes a lot of sense. You were at the bottom of the barrel. Society has chewed you out and not given you any help. You get a little bit of money, you want to be on top. So I feel like his behavior makes a lot of sense in the overall human condition.
Oh yeah, and I mean, if I told you this story without telling you any details, you could probably predict this. You could probably predict that he's gonna not really seek out financial advice on how to make his money last and how to build a better future.
Yeah.
And he is just gonna blow it all away because his mindset is just not in $100,000 mode.
Yeah, so yeah, I think this guy was not given a fair chance.
That's fair. That's very fair. It is still kind of sad.
It
because
is.
It feels
of course
like,
it is.
Well, it feels like if $100,000 can't fix this man, I don't think any amount of help will.
You
know what I mean?
I disagree. If instead those 100,000 would have been distributed in like general care, specifically for this one person, you know, like a therapist on a flat, on like whatever a service is called that reintroduces people to society, on rehab, this man could have been reintroduced into society relatively well off of 100,000.
That's probably true. Everything I've read about homelessness, though, is that like every government spends a shitload of money on it, and basically all we end up with is more homeless.
Didn't Finland just kind of fix homelessness? No one's homeless in Finland anymore, and it costs them less money than having homeless people.
That's true, but I'm always a little curious of these numbers. So, like, Finland says we have 3 homeless people in the entire country, right? Japan says it has 0. Now, obviously, I don't trust anyone who says they have 0. Like, there's gotta be something funky going on there. There's no way it's
That's
0.
True. It's like when China said we have 0 new COVID cases.
Yeah, right? It's like, if you said 1, I'm so much more willing to believe you than if you say 0, because it's so unbelievable. But, like, I'm assuming Finland's doing something correct, but I have no idea what it is. Like, why are they so good at homelessness?
Well,
Like, it just makes
it's
me feel like they must be fudging the numbers level.
it's probably actual spending on housing. If you're homeless, if you have an immediate place to go, if you immediately can go to the government for help, isn't that so much easier than having nowhere to turn to?
Yeah, and they probably do actually help their people, rather than, like, Britain or America that goes, okay, do you have any kids? Oh, you don't? Fuck off.
Hey, they don't even have single mom with kids that well.
That is true. Oh, this conversation has made me sad.
Well, quick, back to being a morally reprehensible people. It's far easier to deal with reality that way.
Dude, Luke, why are you trying to make me have morals, dude? I was so happy robbing my homeless people. I was so happy.